Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Jenny Love with Jenny Love Journals. So today is episode 3 of our Eclectic Vintage Junk Journal making process. Now we have already, we made the signatures, right? 2 signatures for each journal, four signatures total. We reinforced the spines. We obviously took the pages out. We decorated the covers. If you guys watched my video from yesterday, part 2, towards the end, I tried to put these book corners on and they weren't fitting very well. I was having a hard time getting them on, so I did end up getting them on off camera. I had to get a good set of pliers and pry them open so that I could slide them on. And I put some glue inside of there so that they would stay, and then I just kind of, squeezed them shut. So I was able to get those on both journals, and I think that they look amazing, right? Not only does it protect the covers, but it looks really good. Also off camera, I did line the inside covers with scrapbook paper, and I used coordinating colors according to the book itself. So this is the red book, so there's some reds and greens and stuff in that. I thought that was really pretty, and the pattern itself is pretty vintage. It kind of reminds me of a pattern that they used to have on, like, vintage furniture and things like that back then. And then on the inside of this one, I did the same thing, but I used a different pattern, which I absolutely love. I thought it went really well with the color of this book. And it's the foil scrapbook paper, the shiny gold with the green, and I thought that looked really sharp. So I got that done off camera. And so today what we're going to do is we're going to go through some vintage catalogs that I have here, and we're going to cut some stuff out. So we have this 1930s Sears and Roebuck, Sears, Roebuck and Company catalog, and there's a lot of really nice images of vintage ladies and fabric and furniture and all kinds of stuff excuse me, that we're going to be using. I was flipping through this and the particles got to my allergies, so I'm going to be clearing my throat a lot, so please excuse me for that. So we're going to go through this. I showed you guys in the first episode of this series that I have these vintage Better Homes and Gardens magazines. Let me make sure that I'm in frame. Yes, okay. Like this one is from 1926. This one is from 1924, but it is December, so it's like a Christmas one. However, as I was flipping through it, there's not a lot of Christmassy things in here. I mean, there's a few things that represent Christmas, but a lot of it is gardening and cooking and stuff that doesn't really have much to do with Christmas. It's like if you were to buy a Better Homes and Gardens magazine today, right, for modern day, and if it was for Christmas, it would be loaded with Christmas stuff, but these aren't. Here's another December one for 1932, and it's the same thing. There's not really much in here that represents Christmas. And I'm kind of shocked. I love this. But I'm kind of shocked because Christmas was huge. But I mean, Christmas is huge now, but it was way bigger back then. I was reading this earlier. It's adorable. Dear Santa Claus, my mother is busy all the time. I'm afraid she will forget to write you this year, but I don't want you to forget her. At school, I am making her a pad for under the teapot. Johnny is 9 and is making her bookends in manual training. Daddy will give her something, but if you are not too busy, I wish you would bring her a electric, not electric, but electric Hoover like Mrs. Watson has. She wished she had one every time. She cleans our house, and cleans is spelled with K-L-E-E-N-S. Yours truly, Barbara Jane White. I thought that was so cute. And a Hoover back then, right, in 1932 cost $4.50. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's the down payment, $4.50. Well, still, I mean, that's super cheap for even a down payment on a Hoover. Oh my goodness. So yeah, there's not a lot of things in here that represent Christmas, just a few things, but So we'll be able to use some of that. And then I have this really old gardening book for houseplants and gardens and things like that that I want to go through and use. And like I said, we're basically just going to go through, I got some dried flowers in here that my daughter picked for me on her walk back from her bus stop several years ago. She's no longer in school. All three of my daughters are graduated and grown up now. But anyways, so there's some stuff in here that I noticed that I want to utilize. So that's what we're going to do today. And if we have time, because I don't want the video to go on for too long, but if we have time, I want to get these tags decorated that I showed you in the first video. Here's the coffee dyed tags. I believe there's 12 of them here. And then these tags that I covered in scrapbook paper that I cut out of cut using my my Cricut. So if we have time, we will decorate these. If not, then we will do this in tomorrow's video, where we will be making pockets, tuck spots, tags, or decorating tags, and basically just filling up the signatures in the journals, I should say. So basically what I want to do is I want to start with this one because there is a lot in here. And again, like I explained yesterday, if you are the kind of person who cries or gets upset when you see a vintage book or magazine being cut up or torn up, look away, because that is what we're going to be doing. So it does break my heart too, without a doubt. Trust me, it does. But it, you know, again, like I explained yesterday, if it wasn't for us rescuing these books and magazines and things like that, they would either continue to sit around and collect dust, or they would eventually get thrown away. So why not repurpose them and turn them into something beautiful that will allow them to last a lot longer and actually be utilized, right? I want to actually take this off the cover because that would be a perfect tuck spot. But I think I already loosened the staples that are holding this together, but let me just double check before I start anything. I did. I loosened them, but I didn't pull them out. So let's go ahead and take them out so it'll be easier for us to extract the pages without causing any damage to the pages. Okay, that one's being a little stubborn. There we go. And I purchased this magazine off of eBay. Again, it is a 1930s Sears, Roebuck and Company magazine. And then whatever pages I don't utilize. All right, what's going on here? Oh, there's a piece of tape. So it must have been falling apart at some point. But whatever pages I don't utilize, as far as, you know, cut aparts and whatever, I can use as signatures in future journals. The next journal project I'm going to be working on will be a vintage summertime old journals. I haven't decided yet if I want to make 2 or 3. If I make 3, it'll be because I want to keep one. But we'll see what happens. I'm actually just going to bring this all the way down because this would make a pretty pocket or a tuck spot. So I like that. But yeah, so that's going to be my next journal project. Will be vintage nonetheless, but will be summertime, like 1920s, 1930s summer. And again, I don't want much to go to waste, so I'm going to, even like this you know, I can back this and put it in a pocket. And they can write on the back of it, whoever ends up with it. So, hopefully you all are having a good day, a creative day. If you watched my video from yesterday, you'll know how I was talking about how I had a cardiologist appointment yesterday. And still making sure I'm in frame, yes. I can use this for the vintage summer journals that I start next week. So I'm just going to set this over here. Save that for that. But yeah, so I went to the cardiologist yesterday. It went very well. They actually want to put me on a monitor, which I go tomorrow afternoon to get that put on. They have to actually put it on you because they put it on you a certain way so that it doesn't come off, because you have to wear it 24/7. You know, I'm sure if you've worn one before, you know what I'm talking about. So tomorrow I go and get that put on, and then I have to wear it for a week, and then after that I have to go back the following week to get the results from the monitor. And so what they want to do excuse me, is they want to see what kind of PVCs I'm having, because apparently there's different kinds. And if the monitor shows that, you know, a lot of them are like the same kind, then that means the problem is coming from one part of my heart. So they would only have to go in one time and fix the one problem in the one area. If it shows that there are different kinds, or they're on, you know, different timings, things like that, then they'll have to go into this, you know, several different parts of my heart to fix all of them, to make it so that I am no longer getting these PVCs. And the cardiologist was very confident that he can get me all fixed up. And amazing cardiologist. He's actually, it was the first time, yesterday was the first time that I seen him. That little thing is kind of halfway over her dress, but I'm just going to leave it there. So things that I want to put in pockets, I'm actually going to put right here. Things that I want to use for embellishments, I'm going to put here, and you guys can't even see what I'm talking about. Pockets and tucks right here. So anyways, he was very, very nice. You know, you could tell that he actually cared. It's weird because, and I don't mean to offend anybody when I say this. I mean, not that I will, but you never know nowadays, honestly. But I was born and raised in upstate New York. And when I was 36 years old, 9 years ago, we moved to Southwest Florida because my husband got a really good job offer down here. And so we've been down here for 9 years. It'll be 9 years actually in like 2 weeks from now. But whenever I had a doctor's appointment in New York, I feel like the doctors didn't care. Like, it was so weird. I don't know. It was like you dreaded going to the doctors because you weren't confident that they would give a crap, you know? They didn't take things as seriously as they should have. Trying to figure out how I want to cut this one. And it was just disappointing. Like, nothing ever got done the way it should have. But when I moved to Florida, while yes, sometimes you do have to wait a little longer to get into the doctor because, you know, a lot of people live down here in Florida. But every doctor I've ever seen, you know, dentist, primary, cardiologist, gynecologist, you know, emergency room doctors, hospital doctors, they all care. Like, they are just awesome. And you feel confident going to the doctor. And I love that. It's so weird, the difference. And I don't know why that is. Because, you know, a person is a person, a doctor is a doctor. They all, you know, they're all educated, and for the most part, they all know what they're doing. But the doctors up north, I don't know. Like, let me know. Like, if you live up north, you know, like the New England states or whatever, how is your doctor? I'm going to cut into these bloomers here because her arm, I don't want to cut her arm off even though it's behind the bloomers. But let me know, like, do you have that same, like, issue to where you're, like, dreading going to the doctor because you just don't feel confident that they care as much as they should? You know, things like that. And my mother still lives in upstate New York. The majority of my family is still up there. And she has the same problem. Her doctors, every doctor that she sees is just inconsistent and unreliable, and, you know, they're like careless. Like, they don't seem like they care as much as they should. So I don't know. It's really weird. Do I want to save this? I'm going to put it in a maybe pile. I love these little kids. They're so cute. So when I seen the cardiologist yesterday, and I was just blown away at the answers that I was getting. You know, the fact that they actually care, you know. Even the ladies at the reception were, like, extremely nice. So I am, for once, excited to get fixed up. I can't wait. Alrighty. I'm gonna get the rest of these little kids cut out here. I almost cut into her face. That wouldn't have been good. It is another very hot day down here in Southwest Florida. Very hot day. Another heat wave, if you will. But again, like I said in my last video, it is the beginning of summer. And it is around the middle to the end of May-ish that we start getting the massive heat waves. And those last until September-ish. End of September, beginning of October. It starts to cool down in October. So I do miss summers up north. Even though up north in the summer it doesn't rain a lot. But I do miss it. I don't like how their legs are gone, but it is what it is. But God, I do not miss those winters, the brutal, brutal winters. And where I was from in New York, up, you know, up. And, like, I was born in Syracuse, but lived in, like, Oswego County, Cayuga County, you know, right on the river there. And the snowstorms would travel up the river, and we would get smacked. Really, really hard snowstorms all the time. And I just don't miss, I'm actually gonna just, there you go. I don't miss the winters at all. But I do miss summer, especially fall. Fall is my favorite. We don't really get fall down here. We do, but we don't. The leaves change colors on some of the trees, not all of them, obviously, because we have, like, a lot of palm trees and stuff like that. But I'm going to cut these guys out together because it looks like she's got her arm around him. But on the trees that the leaves do change color in fall, they don't turn like, you know, pretty oranges and reds, and they turn brown. And that's about it, you know. So I do miss fall because fall was my favorite season. It still is. And I got, well, not that this is a good thing, but I did get to go to New York last fall, briefly, under circumstances that I didn't want to go to New York because unfortunately my little brother passed away. So we had to go up there to be with my mom. And it was in late September when the leaves were starting to turn, and while I didn't enjoy it that much, considering the circumstances, that was the first time in about 8 years that I had seen fall up north. So, all right, let's see what else here. I mean, I could literally cut out everything in this book. And, like, look at this. Look at the prices of these shoes. It's insane. They're like quadruple the price now. Anyways, it's funny. Like, instead of just a regular person, they have housekeepers or maids pictured making the bed, folding the pillowcases. That's crazy. Did they have many housekeepers back in the 30s? I don't know. Maybe it was just for show. So, you might hear a loud noise outside. Oh my goodness, look at this. Look at this, 98 cents for, is that a jumper or a swing? Big value, swing with backrest and nickel-plated spring. 98 cents. That is crazy. Wow, this one's $1.39. 2-in-1 baby's dressing table and bathtub, $5.79. Absolutely crazy. But anyways, if you do hear noises outside, like loud noises, the lady behind me, excuse me, the elderly lady behind me, her fence is starting to fall down, so they're over there fixing it, and they're using loud machines, and they turn them on, turn them off, turn them on, turn them off. While it's good, she's getting it fixed because she is pretty elderly, and I want to grab these for tuck spots, but it's double-sided, so which side do I want the most? That's a tough one, being as how it's double-sided. That's a tough one. I'm gonna have to come back to that. But anyway, same with this. She needs to get it, excuse me, she needs to get it fixed. It's the dust from the pages. And yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut out that bicycle. But anyways, so when Hurricane Ian came through a few years ago, and again, I live in Southwest Florida, right on the Gulf of Mexico. And so when that came through, we were the first to get smacked really hard. And I think I'm gonna actually cut it like this. It took down her original fence, so she had a new one put up. One of those white, I guess, fiberglass. I don't know what material it is, but it was really nice fencing. And we had 2 hurricanes come through last October 2024, and it messed up her new fencing. And ever since then, it's been leaning, and so it's just gotten worse, and her finally over there fixing it for her. That's going to be a really big, that's not even going to fit on the book page itself, so I might have to cut this off, and then I will just use that for something separate. But anyways, so I'm glad that they're over there doing that for her. Now, this isn't going to be a super long video of me just cutting things out, because I don't want to bore you guys. You know, I know that you guys all do this kind of thing too, and while it is kind of relaxing, I don't know how exciting it is watching someone else do it, but I'm going to probably do a lot of these off camera. Well, I'm definitely going to do a lot of these off camera, but I wanted to film some of it so that you guys could see, you know, what I'm basically going for as far as what's going to be going in the journal for ephemera, decorative pieces, pockets and tuck spots, things like that. Make sure I'm still in frame. Yes, kind of, sort of. Let me come up a little bit. This, I'm still, like, these double-sided ones, I have to pick which side I want to go with, because they both have pretty much the same thing. So let's find a few more pages out of this book to cut some things out of, and then we'll move on to the other magazines and cut a few things out. But like I said, I will do a lot of this off camera as well. This is a no-brainer. I'm going to go out for this side rather than this side. And probably shouldn't do that. These pages are very fragile. So if I try to tear it out, just like you've seen me do here, they're going to tear into the images. Ooh, that was close. Look at that. Whew, I saved it just in time. And grab a sip of my coffee. That's my dog walking around. He might have heard something. He just jumped up out of his bed. But anyways, so yeah, I'll do a lot of these off camera. And then I will back these, like the pockets, the tuck spots, the ephemera. Obviously not the things that I plan on using to embellish, because I'm just going to glue those down anyways. But pockets, tucks, ephemera pieces that I plan on using as ephemera, I will be backing on the vintage, either the vintage construction paper or the vintage poster board cardstock paper that I showed you guys in the first episode, just to, you know, still keep it as vintage as possible, because I have plenty of it, but I want to make sure that they're going to be nice and durable. That's going to be a cute side tuck. So let me know in the comments how your day is going, if you're in the craft room today, and if so, what are you working on? I would love to hear about it. I love to see what other people are working on, or hear about what other people are working on. I actually do also enjoy it when people send me photos of what they're working on. Sometimes people will send me photos to my email to show me what they're working on. A lot of times, back when I was doing like basically nothing but tutorials, sometimes people would follow along with the tutorials, and then they would email me photos of what they made. And I love that, because everyone is so creative in their own way. And I just love to see what everybody's doing. And if you ever want to do that, my email address is in my About section here on my channel. Come on now. My scissors keep slipping because of how delicate the paper is. I'm on the right side, right? Yep, okay. I'd rather cut these out rather than a stack of towels. But, so yeah, I'd love to hear about or see what you're working on. There goes the, whatever machine they're using. So I apologize if you hear that. Like I said, they keep turning it on and off. Pages are so thin. Just trying to be extra careful. 54 inches wide. Are these bed sheets? Less material. I think they are. Oh no, this is fabric. Fabric, yep. $1.79 a yard. Oh my goodness, insane. I love seeing like how much things cost back then, you know. All right, is there anything worth keeping on these little scraps? No, I don't see anything. So I'm just gonna throw these away. But I always check, because you never know. Even if it's a, you know, a cool word or something. I want to grab some of these pretty ladies with the hats. Again, double-sided, so I'm going to have to figure out which side I want to grab from. I'll have to come back to that. I'll do that one off camera. Midsummer corsetry, whatever, sale for corsets and things. A lot of these I can, like I said, I can utilize, you know, like this and a lot of other things in here I can utilize for my vintage summertime journals that I plan on making next week after I'm done with these. I'm hoping to have these done by the end of this week. And then as soon as they are done, they will be going in my Etsy shop for sale. And because each of them are 2 signatures, they will be priced at around $150. Okay. Like I said, there's a lot more in this book, like these, for example, these ladies. Definitely want to get them cut out, which I will do off camera. So when I come back tomorrow, I will have a lot of these cut out and I can go through and show you guys. I want to cut some of these out too. Those would be cute pockets and tuck spots. These also. Monthly payment for, what's my stomach growling again? 6 rooms and a bathroom. Monthly payment as low as $50. Look at this one, $30. The, it's hard to see. The Berwyn, 5 rooms and a bath. Monthly payment as low as $30. $30 a month for a house. $35 a month, 6 rooms and a bathroom. $35 a month. Don't I wish? Don't I wish? Y'all don't even want to know what I pay a month for my house. It's when I tell people, their jaws drop to the floor. But even, you know, a lot of times people will say, oh, I wish I could go back and, you know, pay that price. I'm going to cut out some of these gentlemen too. Some of these young boys and gentlemen. But, you know, back then, $50 a month for a house was expensive because, you know, the income wasn't, you know, what, 1930s, what was the income, like $1.50 an hour for a mediocre job, you know? So it's not like people think it is, that they can, you know, take the money that they make today and go back and I wish that's how it worked, but all right. So we're going to switch over into one of the Better Homes and Gardens magazines and get a few things cut out. But like I said, I will cut out a lot more off camera out of this one. So because I have this one already Did I take the staples out? I didn't, but I did remove some of the signatures out of that one. So make it a little easier to go through this one and get some things cut out. But, oh, like this one, Purina. I don't know if you can see it. I can cut this out. That is part of the cover though, so cover being cut. Shield your eyes. It is a little heartbreaking because, yeah. I'd honestly rather have this than her, to be honest. Why, I don't know. But it's just calling my name. To get this cut out. There is a shop, like an antique mom and pop shop, if you will, in my town that has been open for 60 years or something, I think the lady said. And the lady that owns it, she's an elderly lady. She's retiring, so she is selling everything. Get this, guys. She gives you a huge paper bag. Huge. And she tells you if you can fill it up with anything you want in the store, and I'll only charge you $20. Even if things are protruding from the bag, she even says, even if things are sticking out, as long as you can fit it down in the bag, put it in there, and I'll charge you $20 for everything in the bag. So my husband went. Should I use this as a pocket or ephemera? I think I'm going to use it as a pocket or a tuck. So my husband went and filled up a bag full of stuff. He got me some more vintage books, some vintage Betty Crocker cookbooks, a little book about Hummels. If you guys remember what Hummels are, they're the little antique children. They're like porcelain or something. And it's a book that tells you how much Hummels are worth, but the book itself is even old. And he picked me up one of those so I can utilize that in one of my journals if I want. I love that. There's a log cabin on the back, but I think I want to take that. That's one thing that kind of stinks about cutting images from a magazine or a catalog, is that you have to choose which side, because there's, print on both sides. So you have to choose which side is your favorite and do away with the other side, unfortunately. But my husband also has a man cave room. It's not really set up like a man cave, but it's his own separate room. Like I have my own craft room. He's got his own separate room for all of his antiques. He collects antiques and like vintage clowns and just strange things. And he sets up, it's like he's got like a little mini museum in his room. So he bought himself some stuff from there for his room. Maybe I can do a tour video of that room if you guys want to see it. It's literally just a bunch of antiques all displayed. So if that's something that you guys want to see, I know it's completely irrelevant to this channel, or I could put it on my other channel, which I have a much larger channel for those of you who don't know, which is Jenny Love TV. This is Jenny Love Journals, and I also have Jenny Love TV, where I have much more content and many more subscribers over there. I've been doing for almost 5 years. And we do, exploration, paranormal stuff, just strange, creepy things that we do over there on that channel. So maybe I'll do that and put it on that channel. I don't know, but let me know in the comments if that's something that you would want to see. Because he's got a lot of creepy things in that room. the vibes and the heaviness that I feel when I walk into that room is no joke. I think I'm going to cut her out, but I'll do that off camera. I'm just looking for, you know, some of the really cool things that you guys would want to see. I could cut all of these out. What's on the back? I like that. I don't know. Gonna have to come back to that. Lots of decisions, the old layouts and stuff. Look at how backyards used to be. Like you walk out your back door and then you have your basic backyard, and then you come over into here and you have, like, you know, your sitting area and then some flowers planted around, and then you come through this trellis and it's all your garden, your fruits and vegetables, and that's how they used to set it up. And here's some prices up here and how much it cost to do all that. Wow, $4,000, $5,000, depending on the unit, what it costs to build. Landscape design for unit house number 6. So, I mean, if it cost that much back then, imagine how much it costs nowadays. Love that image. I kind of want to cut this one out. Kohler. It's an old ad for Kohler plumbing fixtures. It's got Old English wax ad on the other side. Burpee seeds. I don't even know, is Burpee still in business, I wonder? I know they have been for many years. See if we can find a few more things to cut out before I let you guys go. Because like I said, I don't want to keep you guys too long with just cutting things out. And even though I've been filming for 42 minutes, we didn't even get a whole lot cut out. I mean, we did, but we didn't. But this kind of thing just goes to show how much time goes into making, oh, look at that. Goes into making these, you know, all the little detail, all the fine detail that we do to make these junk journals, especially the vintage ones. I mean, there's a lot of work in any type of junk journal, but the vintage ones, I love that. It takes a little more, I think, because you have to acquire as much as you can and then go through like I am and cut it out. Big profits. This is what you want, and if you, or that is what you want. The lettering is so small. And if you have a piece of wants for our new book, Kellogg's Great Corpse. Oh, I'm sorry. There's, okay. I'm skipping the ones under here because that was confusing me. It's so small. Like very small. Big profits. That is what you want. And if you have a piece of ground, no matter how small, which is bringing you only a small profit or no profit at all, then send at once for our new book, Kellogg's Great Crops of Strawberries and How to Grow Them. So you could grow strawberries and sell them, but you would have to go through the company. And as I was flipping through these magazines when I first got them, I noticed that there's a lot of ads for that, where you can just go through these different companies, like a what's the word I'm looking for? A sub affiliate? Is that what I'm looking for? An affiliate to you know, sell, to, you know, obtain their seeds, grow and sell. I'm going to kind of kiss cut around this one. But anyways, yeah, to grow and sell what they provide you. but you have to give the company some of the profits. So you purchase their seeds, you do all the work, and you sell them, and then you share the profits. There was a few articles I read that, you know, you're required to share your profits. Let's see, what else? I'm going to keep this right there because I can use that for something later. Look at the little chicks. Chamberlains. All right, here's another one, Mole's Seeds. Once grown, always grown. Here's an, oh, this is for spraying your plants. Lots of gardening ads from back then. I love that. I'm gonna grab that. Lots of gardening ads. Because, I mean, if you really think about it, back then, you know, you couldn't, yeah, you could buy fruits and vegetables in the store like you do now, but not nearly as easily as you can now. You know, back in the early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s, you know, like the book that we're cutting out of right now is 99 years old. So back in, you know, 1926, it wasn't, fruits and vegetables weren't as easy to come by in the grocery store as they are now. So, you know, they advertised a lot for gardening so that you can grow your own. I love that. This keeps getting caught. And this is about a heater, I think. Comfort whatever weather comes. To the family that is snugly warmed by Arcola hot water radiator heat. The arrival of winter blasts serves only to bring keener enjoyment and appreciation of the home. Radiator heat. Interesting. All right, I'm going to grab that. And I think after I cut this out, I'm going to let you guys go. And then I'm going to go and grab something to eat. Take the dog for a walk. I'm going to cut those little side thingies off. And then come back in here and finish cutting out all of this so that, again, when I film tomorrow's video, I can have all of those ready. Because tomorrow we're going to be, like I said, we're going to be making pockets and decorating tags to start filling up our pages. And then Friday, I'm going to take that too. Friday, which will be our last day, we'll be sewing in the signatures, or I might sew the signatures in off camera. I'm not sure. Let me know if you want me to do that on or off camera. Because it's just basic, you know, sewing in the signatures. Most people already know how to do that. But let me know if that's something that you want to see. And then we'll do a flip through, of course, when they're all done. And yeah, then they'll be available in my Etsy shop. All right, so I'm just going to stop here, take a little break, and we got quite a bit done. Lots and lots of pockets and tuck spots and stuff like that cut that we can utilize. Yeah, that's going to be super nice. And I also have, like I showed you guys on the first day, all of these, the vintage advertisements that I already backed and stuff that we can also use. And these are already done. I also have lots and lots of scrapbook paper left over from when I cut them up to add to the signatures, to add to, you know, the inside of the covers. and things like that. And I can utilize a lot of this to make pockets and stuff like that. Belly bands, tuck spots. So we'll utilize some of this as well. But yeah, that is going to be it for today. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure that you give it a great big thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you do. Share the video out to friends and family that you think would enjoy it. And thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, guys.